In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products? So starting with the trailer, referring to prop, he said that within a story there are particular character types, paying particular attention to fairy tales, and that the narrative function of a character was more important than their psychological identity. These character types included hero, villain, donor, dispatcher, false hero, helper, princess, and father. We used some of these character types within our film trailer. Although we had a princess in need of help, she was also the hero as she was out to save the rest of humanity and her boyfriend. Therefore, we follow the typical character types, however they are adjusted slightly to match our era. Feminism is key in this time and age, and this could reflect through our use of our character Sarah Parks, as she acts as a hero by fighting the cyborgs alone, equally as a male would do if he played the hero. However, the villains are also female, which could, referring to Kuhn, reflect the future of our society and the empowerment of women. We also evidently have villains who are the cyborgs in our trailer. Having a hero and villains is also a form of binary opposition, as they are opposites. Levi Strauss stated that binary opposition exists within stories. This is when elements can be paired by how they oppose. We definitely follow this convention within our trailer, as we have heroes who oppose villains, we have the use of day followed by night, and the opposing female and male genders. Binary opposition is also evident through the use of the atmosphere within the trailer and the pace used. This is because, through the flashbacks, we see a calm and normal atmosphere, but when our female protagonist wakes up, we are introduced to a hectic dystopian world overrun by cyborgs, and here the pace increases. A film tends to have a beginning, middle, and end, but we know from our research that a trailer is clips used to portray the storyline that don't tend to be in chronological order. We have definitely followed this convention of trailers here, by not putting our clips in order of the beginning, middle, and end, and made sure that the clips from the beginning of the storyline may be at the end of the trailer and vice versa. Todorov also suggested that this is composed in a particular way. He suggested that we start off with a normal and steady state of equilibrium, followed by a disruption, a recognition of the disruption, and an attempt to repair the damage, and then ending in a new equilibrium. We have used this within our trailer as we start off with an equilibrium shown by flashbacks, and then throughout there are shots of attempts to repair the damage, an evident disruption by the cyborgs, etc. However, in our trailer we don't show a new equilibrium, but this may be due to the nature of the trailer, and not all elements of the story are shown, as we want to leave enigmas for the audience. As trailers are a glimpse of the film to advertise to the audience and make maximum profit, they use a variety of types of shots from the film to intrigue the audience. I think we followed this convention within our trailer, as we have a wide range of shots including low angle, bird's eye view, long shot, mid shot, extreme close-ups, and match on action. They also use sound throughout, with a mix of dialogue, narrative, and theme music to match the genre of the film. We followed this convention as we have used the narrative of Sarah Parks and have many layers of theme music throughout, as well as sound effects including Foley. The film trailers often end in a climax in sound and then silence comes, and we've attempted this by using a sting in our sound when the title The Final Dawn comes on screen. Science fiction can be quite simply defined as a genre that defies or goes against science in imaginative ways that completely captivate the audience. This can be through the use of space, for example interstellar and gravity, or through genetic engineering in humans or other organisms, such as the science fiction film Transcendence. Science fiction films can also be based on the idea of inexplicable forces. For example, in ours, the world has been taken over by non-human force of cyborgs. Cyborgs are half robot, and so can be a force out of human reach. The idea of having cyborg creatures also reflects the idea of the progression of science. This again reflects Kuhn ideas of showing in our film trailer what may happen in the future. We know that science has progressed so far in the form of robots, and because of this it may progress even further, so the idea of cyborgs is possible. Often in science fiction genre we are introduced to imaginative and improbable settings. However, this isn't the case in ours, as it's still set on Earth, just in the future. Dystopian futures are also evident within science fiction films such as The Hunger Games or The Host, because, like ours, these films are still set on Earth, but in dystopian futures, with other science fiction characteristics such as a further use of technology. Limited resources are often a key feature in science fiction, and for Sarah Parks this may be the case as she thinks she's the only human left on Earth. Therefore, there is a massive struggle for her to find resources such as food, shelter, and transport, especially as she is always on the run from cyborgs. Science fiction films also tend to have an array of characters such as hero, villain, princess, helper. The villains in science fiction movies also tend to be of higher forces, such as governments or non-human creatures. In our trailer, we have used cyborgs as our villains, which follows the codes and conventions of science fiction films. One main theme and ideology in science fiction is almost always the impossible quest to save the world. This theme is portrayed in Ours as we have a female protagonist trying to save her boyfriend, as she is on a mission of survival and searching for the possible idea of any humans left on Earth. This makes it an impossible quest, as there is way more cyborgs than humans on Earth. Moving on to the magazine cover, they tend to be made up of a main focus image, advertisements of other films and actors, barcodes, and a masthead in the top at bold. An inspiration for my magazine front cover came from the Twilight film, as like in one of the Twilight movie posters, they used 3 characters posed in a certain way, almost like a love triangle. I used this by doing a similar thing for my magazine cover by using 3 characters, not in a love triangle, but almost a triangle of war, and this also shows that these 3 characters are very important within my film. I have also followed the codes and conventions of sci-fi magazine front covers by ensuring I have all the elements on my cover. I have ensured that the masthead of Film Extra is the largest writing on the cover and is located in the top quarter of the cover in bold. Referring to other science fiction-based magazine covers, they often use at least one slightly darker colour such as blue, green, purple, black or grey. I have followed this convention by using a grey background and using the colour purple in some sections on my cover. Magazine front covers also use colours in a particular way. For example, they tend to only use around 2 to 4 colours on the front. I've managed to follow this convention as I've used a grey background and the colour yellow, purple and white. I also think these 3 colours work well together, and I've used these colours on a similar range on my film poster. The use of the colour grey also symbolises destruction or darkness. For example, the dystopian future that Sarah has to face every day. However, the use of yellow and purple are brighter colours and symbolise the chance of hope and new beginnings and may hint at the narrative of my film. It's also been found on magazine covers that the image is either the main character or a group of the main characters. I have successfully followed this convention by using 3 of my main characters, the hero, villain and the helpless boyfriend. For example, in some of the X-Men covers they often use 3 or 4 of the main characters that belong to the X-Men team. The language on magazine covers is also very particular. They constantly use puns to keep the audience entertained and specific language relating to the genre and the film that's being advertised to the reader. I've tried to do this by including some humour whilst advertising other sci-fi movies. For example, Tomorrowland, find out today in this exclusive with Clooney himself. I've also used the phrase, the most epic movie of 2015, as magazine covers often use emotive language and hyperboles. Moving on to my film poster, I found that posters normally come out before the magazines and just give a hint at the narrative in the film. This is because they contain less information. This is usually only the title, the main actors and the film tagline. A bidding block also exists on the film poster containing the important contextual information. My poster definitely follows the conventions of film posters, as I've included all the elements as found in my research. Looking at some posters, they position the actors' names at the top, going across in a line. This is what I've done with my film poster to follow this convention. However, not all posters may advertise the actors from the film. Again, following the convention of posters, I only use a small range of colours. This is so the audience aren't distracted for the main purpose of the poster, which is to advertise the film.